San Andreas. The reason being I put it as number 10 is it had a very good story. It's one of the top 10 games I've ever played. The story just being of CJ and Ryder and Smoke. It was very good for the time. PS2 didn't have many thought out games besides God of War and I think Shadow Colossus. There wasn't really much out. I mean, you could play the PS1 classics, but that's about it. GTA really went above and beyond with the story that it told. And so, spoilers alert, guys. I'm sure everybody's probably watched or seen this by now, but Big Smoke turned out to be a bad guy. Made for a great twist in the PlayStation 2 era. When it comes to stories in this game, there's so many side missions you can do and stuff. Along with you can make CJ however you want him to be. If you want him to be a big fat guy, you could. You want him to be a big ripped dude, you could. Skinny guy, you could. Causing mayhem at randomness to spawning weapons and destroying everything inside. That was fun. It was great. Very fun for a kid. I'm sure everyone ended up keeping a cheat code list in the case. Everybody did it, okay? And how you went and got it was, you either went to your friend's house or your family's house or school, whoever had a PC you could get, spend all day writing the codes down, you folded it up and you put it in the case, you kept it. So for me, the story gets an 8 out of 10. Now when it comes to game modes, this game really didn't have much besides the core experience. That was it. Yeah, you could do the little co-op mode, but it would have been a lot better mode if it was split screen. But, for its time, it's what we had. But if it had a few more game modes, I think this game would have done a lot better, in my opinion. But it only had one game mode, and that was it. So for me, game modes is only a 6 out of 10. My personal experience with this game is definitely an 8 out of 10. Giving it a final max score of 22 out of 30. This is going to throw a lot of people off, but UFC 3 Undisputed is my number 9 game of all time. I sunk so many hours in this game, and in my opinion, it's still one of the best MMA games ever made, and one of the best fighting games of all time. When it comes to story, this game is alright, but it wasn't the main appeal to this game. For the most part, it's a decent thought out story, but for a sports game, this is pretty good. So I'll give it a 7 out of 10 on the story. As for game modes, this game packed a fucking punch. Not just having exhibition mode where you fight your friends or fight computers. It had the Pride mode, Tournament mode, Create an Event mode, and what fans have been asking EA to do for years, a title mode. For title mode, what you do is you pick any fighter, you make a run at the title at whatever weight class they're fighting at. On top of that, once you get the belt, you defend it as long as you can. Take a match after match till you accumulate 3 losses. When it comes to game modes, UFC 3 definitely gets a 9 out of 10. When it comes to my personal experience with this game, it's an 8 out of 10. Giving this game a final max score of 24 out of 30, making it another A-tier game. So, number 8 is Guitar Hero 3. You cannot have the top 10 and not include a Guitar Hero game. The main reason I picked Guitar Hero 3 is all the memories I had trying to become better and become as good as my friends. At the time, shout out to Goins Gaming, was one of the best Guitar Hero / Rock Band players in the area. And I want to become better than him. I never really did become better than him, but I took a P and I beat him on a few songs. But at the end of the day, he was still better than me. So, when it comes to story, it's a short, sweet, simple story. Your band plays shows, you meet legends, you duel the legends until you face the devil himself. So, short story, easy story, you battle the bad guys, Slash, the devil, all them. And that's about it. So the story gets a 7 out of 10. When it comes to game modes, Guitar 3 didn't have a lot, but what they did have, all the game modes are great. You had online face-off, offline face-off, play songs with friends where they play the bass and you play the guitar lead. They even had battle mode, the mode you could play the devil and Slash on them. So the game modes what they have were perfect. So the Guitar 3 gets a 9 out of 10 for good game modes. My personal experience with this game and all the nostalgia I had for it, gets it a 9 out of 10. For the final map score is a 25 out of 30, making Guitar Hero 3 an A-tier game. Number 7 is Jak and Daxter. Come on guys, you really didn't think I'd leave this bad boy out. Why is it number 7 you ask? Simple, the game is perfect, there's no flaws. I never got a game that I enjoyed so much from start to finish, and if you haven't played Jak and Daxter, you're really missing out. and the little eggs you collected throughout the game, all the power-ups that Jack got, and you could attain throughout the game and use against the bad guys. There was so many different bad guys you fought as well. On top of the beautiful landscapes that Naughty Dog made for us, this game was so good. No matter what they did, they could never top it. Not even Last of Us topped this game. Last of Us is a great game as well, but this game is just so beautiful. The colors and everything for PS2, it's over the top. So for me, this story is a 10 out of 10. Perfect score on that. Now when it comes to game modes, this game didn't have it. Besides the fun little side games you could do in the story, like, they had a fishing game mode and other stuff like that. But the story's so good, I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10 on the game modes, because the story itself is just perfect. My personal experience with this game, well, we're going to give it a 9 out of 10. Giving this game a max score of 26 out of 30. The first S tier on this list, guys. So number 6 is Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. You guys saw this coming. Just made a video about this game with my thoughts. I'll post that link for that for more details. So this one, I'm just get to the scores basically. So the story is an 8 out of 10. The game mode is a 9 out of 10. My personal experience with this game is a 9 out of 10 as well. Giving this game a max score, 26 out of 30. An S tier game, in my opinion, it is probably still the best Call of Duty. Remember, check the annotation above if you want to see more thoughts on it. So number 5 is God of War 2018. What can I say that hasn't already been said about this sequel / soft reboot? It takes an already decent game, makes it God level. The story is amazing. You cannot have a PS4 and not have played and beat this game. The side missions were amazing. Tyr giving you stories about the Norse mythology while on the boat ride going to the missions. Amazing. The fighting game was brutal and impactful, and also hunting the Valkyries in this game really gave you a challenge. The story is great from start to finish. It makes me wish that all the games from the first original trilogy was remade with the same mechanics. So as you can guess, the story is a 10 out of 10. For game modes, it didn't have any, but the story is so good, we'll give it a 7 out of 10. My personal experience with this game, 9 out of 10. Giving God of War a max score of 26 out of 30. Another S tier game. It's fitting that number 4 game of all time would be Resident Evil 4. When it comes to this game's story, it's so out there and over the top, but that's part of its charm. I have a hard time picking between this game and the Resident Evil 2 remake, but at the end of the day, nostalgia wins. Resident Evil 4 was so much different from the original games, with the over-shoulder gameplay, so in many fans' eyes, it's one of the best. Took away the crappy camera angles, gave us a more streamlined experience. Not as spooky, but still good game. The story is a 9 out of 10 for me. The game modes that I had were fun, so I give them 8 out of 10. Personal experience is a 9 out of 10, giving RE4 a max score of 26 out of 30. S tier game. Number 3 is Red Dead Redemption 1. Yeah, Red Dead Redemption 2 is a great game. Arthur Morgan is a great character, but nothing tops John Marston's story. This game has so much story packed into it. It could have been a Western itself. So much is going on, it really makes you feel like you're in the Old West. I enjoy playing as John, because there's never a dull moment. Had so many great characters like Sean, Wes Diskins. Sean was a great robber. Wes Diskins was the crook selling fake tonics that healed you and gave you great powers. And all the bad guys are unforgettable too, like Bill, and Dutch. You get more onto them in RDR2, but I enjoyed them as bad guys. They also did a story DLC called Undead Nightmare. I'm sure everyone's heard of it. It's so good. It could get its own review, but we're going to put it here with it as a story mode itself. It's pretty much zombies in the Old West. You can't beat that. There is no way you can beat that. It's so good. Fans are clamoring for them to put it in RDR2 with the updated graphics, but they refuse to do it. Rockstar does. So, as you can test it, the story is definitely a 10 out of 10. It's a perfect. As for game modes, you did have your online, you did have your story mode. You did have Undead Nightmare as well too, but I can more consider that towards a story mode experience because it is a story DLC. So for game modes, I give it an 8 out of 10. My personal experience with this game is definitely a 9 out of 10. Giving RDR1 a max score of 27 out of 30. Another S tier game. Number 2 is Halo 3. Many of you are baffled at this, as I am mainly a Halo channel, and over half my videos are Halo 3. But Halo does not quite fit the bill to be my number 1 game. It has its flaws when it comes to the story of Halo 3. It's a good story, but it doesn't pass up Halo 2. I think it was a good way to wrap up the trilogy, but that's about it for me. The story only gets an 8 out of 10. Now for game modes. You can't beat this game when it comes to game modes. The story wasn't the greatest, but man alive, if online didn't do it for you. You're insane, dude. You had custom games like Jenga, Halo, Fat Kid, and Duck Hunt. You also had the social playlist where you could play with your friends for hours, seeing Cam playing against the weaker opponents. But if you was a sweat, like me and most of my friends were, you had ranked. Almost the best ranking system has ever been made. You know, in Halo's ranking system, ranked, you ranked up if you won, you ranked down if you lost. Similar to the MCC ranking system now, but it was better in Halo 3. Everybody wanted at 50, and it was very hard to get it. But once you got it, it was bragging rights for life. And freaking social and customs and ranking playlists didn't get it for you, you always had Forge. You had so much to do in Forge, you could just create anything, and it's fun. You know, the story holds it back, so the game modes do get a 9 out of 10. Now, my personal experience with this game, come on, it's a 10 out of 10. I still play it to this day. It came out in 2007. You can't beat Halo 3 in my opinion when it comes to first-person shooters. So Halo 3's max score is a 27 out of 30, tying Red Dead Redemption 1 for another S-tier game. My number 1 game of all time is Dragon Ball Z Budokai 3. What's there to say about this game? It's the Dragon Ball Z story, but with its own twist. Not only could you play as Goku's Z story, you could also play as Vegeta, Gohan, Krillin, Tien, Yamcha, you name it. Hell, even Broly had his own unique story that was different from the movies. Only thing that holds the story back is that they used cutouts and bubble text in the cutscenes instead of giving us actual cutscenes. Yeah, they did use the actual voice actors for most of them, but sometimes you had to read on your own. That was probably the only thing that holds the story back. So the story gets a 9 out of 10. When it comes to game mode, the game had a bunch of story mode, tournament mode, duel, and the Red River base. Hell, you even had to collect all the capsules, fly around, find the Dragon Balls, make a wish. You know, for me the game modes is 9 out of 10. So I picked this game for number 1 due to this game introducing me into more anime. For Dragon Ball Z being so good, I would have never bought this game. And if it wasn't for this game being so good, I'd have never found my love for anime. So that's what gives me the game personal experience. I give it a 10 out of 10. So Budokai 3, it is and forever will be my favorite game. This is what I compare all games to, you know, when I come to rating them and how good they're going to be. So much nostalgia and so much of it's done for me. Hell, I even own it on PS2 and PS3. If you get this game, try to find the PS2 version. The PS2 has the best soundtrack. PS3 soundtrack's not as good. The reason being is because the PS2 soundtrack was a bunch of stolen music. But, you still buy them. Can't do updates and stuff for patch games for PS2. But, so, Budokai 3 gets a max score 28 out of 30. As you can see, none of my games get a 30 out of 30. But still to this day has not been a perfect game. No game's perfect in my opinion, but there are some that are close. This is Big Mac, signing out. Hope y'all enjoyed. Like, comment, subscribe. Tell me what your top 10 list is. Tell me why my list is wrong and why yours is right. Hope y'all enjoyed. See you later.